Hello, YouTube and Twitch. Welcome to Jokes Explained Live. My name is Myles Anderson. I'm a professional joke explainer, here to explain the jokes of the best comedians working today and some of the jokes of just the funniest things happening around the world. Thank you for joining me. It's Friday. Thank God it is Friday. That means that we got a couple days to throw up some stand-up comedy videos and just laugh and laugh and laugh. We are 2 subscribers away from our 50 subscribers on Twitch. Sorry, not followers on Twitch, which means we get to be Twitch affiliates, which I think means I get to have dinner with Ninja and possibly Drake, which would be pretty cool because those are a couple funny guys. We've got a couple comedians for the schedule today. I have a little moment of Zen video for the end of the stream as well. I was going to open with it, but I figure more people are usually here at the end of the stream, so I'll end it there. Also, after the stream, we'll be live on Patreon, doing a little Patreon exclusive stream. It's free for everybody, but you just have to be on the Patreon to see it, and we'll be there talking about plans for future videos, what we'll be working on, and maybe talk about one of the sketches we've done in the past. But yeah, it's a chill hang. Anyway, I've gone through a couple videos here, working through the copyright gambit here on YouTube, trying to find something that I can explain without Brock Lichty. Thank you so much for your $1 right off the top. Doesn't even know if it's good yet. Just paying his respects. Thank you so much, sir. Like clockwork. Paying the toll, just like taking the bus. Hey, Fat Beer just followed on Twitch. Thank you. Now I believe we're at 49 people. Very close to being a Twitch affiliate, which again, I think gets me a discount on my Costco membership. So thank you all so much for joining. Richard Smith says, here we go, taking notes so I can get better explaining jokes to everyone. Watch out, Miles. Maybe I'll take your job as a top explainer. JK, yeah, very funny joke, Richard Smith. Unless you have a bachelor's degree in music, I don't think you can just start explaining jokes out of nowhere. Katie McVeigh says, Costco is woke. That's true. They are woke because they do pay their employees a living wage, which is unfortunate because when people get paid a living wage, they don't have that hunger in their tummy that makes them work harder and succeed. Ask people at the top, like Elon Musk. You know, he's successful because he was always starving growing up. So I've got some YouTube again. I wish I could watch the latest specials coming out, but they're very copyright protected here on YouTube. So, I mean, Twitch is a bit more of a free-for-all, so it's possible that if the YouTube stream gets taken down, just go to the Twitch channel in the links, and I'll still be live. But YouTube is a bit of a stickler for this stuff. But I have to watch old things because a lot of the new stuff is highly, highly copywritten. And it sucks because the most successful, biggest comedians often have the most copywritten material. So I can't really address it. But we've got Jerry Minor. Is that really Jerry Minor? Jerry Minor is a YouTuber, actor, comedian extraordinaire, who watched our video, The Golden Age of Comedy, and had some really cool feedback, and it was so lovely to watch him react to the video because, again, we put these videos out. We don't know if people react. We don't get to physically see them react. We read the comments, which are always lovely, but it was great to see a guy laughing at something that we made. So, Jerry Minor, I'm going to believe it's you. I believe most things I see on the internet are true. So it's very cool that you're watching. We've got a few things to watch here. Again, I have to watch a lot of old stuff. I've got a little bit of Bill Maher. I've got the original Chris D'Elia clip that really blew him up. What drunk girls are really like. And I've also got a compilation by Joke World called Theo Von Try Not to Laugh. And a lot of these clips I chose because, for one, number one reason, they're not copyright protected. Number two reason, a lot of people in the comments don't understand why they're funny. So I'm here to help them out. So without further ado, let's go right on over to YouTube here. And we've got HBO One Night Stand. This is Bill Maher from 1989. So I know this is about 75 years ago, if you guys do the math. It's about 75 years ago, and this is a lot of what made him what he is today, which is, of course, a very famous podcast host who hosts the Club Random podcast, where he smokes herbal cigarettes, makes a couple drinks, and talks about how millennials keep complaining and should stop whining. And a lot of people wonder, how he's having so much money? Why is he so famous? Well, let's watch one of his early stand-up specials and understand what propelled him to the tippy top of the mountain of comedy, and not only as a comedian, but also a top philosophical thinker, intellectual, and general cultural commentator. So here we go. This is the HBO One Night Stand, April 5th, 1989. I think we're okay to watch this. I don't know if HBO exists anymore. I think it's just called a Max. So we are well within our legal rights to do some educational material on this here.
One Night Stand with Judy Tenuta.
I got an A in philosophy because I proved my professor didn't exist.
Tom Herrera.
They're calling on with a sex change operation.
It's pretty quiet.
Bob Nelson. Joy Behar.
Want a man in my life, but not in my house.
Kevin Meaney.
I was circumcised every year for my birthday.
Blake Clark.
Judge Walker's the only decent judge we have in this country.
Barry Sobel.
What is little Richard doing on the Hollywood squares?
Rita Rudner.
People with curly hair want straight, and people with straight want curly. And
All these people have big podcasts now, so check them out.
Everyone to be blind.
Kevin Pollak.
Oh, what am I, an idiot?
Bill Maher.
Ask the key questions. What is the nature of man? What is the meaning of life? Is wrestling fixed?
Damon Wayne.
You're doing comedy now, right? You're doing comedy, man.
This is actually quite a crazy reverse time, because in the old days you would do in the old days you would do stand-up comedy, then you would do a podcast. But now it's the opposite. Now you do a podcast, then you do stand-up.
Yo, you funny?
And Paula Poundstone.
Took a year of high school French. All I can do is ask how Monique is.
One Night Stand. Only on HBO.
So keep in mind, this is the old days. There were 6-7 television channels. There'd probably be like 60, 70 million Americans watching this live.
For the best time on TV, catch the brightest leading bunny men on HBO, The Best Movies, with stars like Chevy Chase fishing around
Hey,
George
Chevy.
Hill's far-out bunny farm. Bruce
I mean, oh, what a classic joke that is, right? Like, he's trying to get a fish here. I mean, you don't even need any words
Chevy
in
Chase
this, right?
fishing around in George Roy Hill's far-out bunny farm. Bruce
And then, was that a snake that got him? Oh man, you can't do stuff like that these days. The woke mob would destroy you for that.
And James Garner riding high in Blake Edwards' cowboy comedy Sunset. Pee Wee Herman flying through the air in his three-ring smash Big Top Pee Wee. Dudley Moore funnier than ever in Arthur 2 on the Rocks. They're all part of the best time on TV, and they're some of the funniest leading men on HBO, The Best Movies.
Yeah, we don't do closed captioning here on the channel. Sorry, everybody. I think an AI can do it. Oh, baby. So this is the similar people from before here. That is a solid groove. This is like almost as good as the What's a Girl to Do theme song here.
Hi, I'm Bill Maher, and welcome to my first HBO special.
Look at the books. I mean, I told you that he is a well-read man who is often what people refer to as for their intellectual stimulation. Also, the hair. Look at that big aggressive mane, like a lion.
You caught me reminiscing here. Believe it or not, this is where show business started for me. This is my uncle's house, my Uncle Henry. He was a real classy guy. In fact, this is the garage.
Higgins, you're insane. What you propose is preposterous.
Nonsense, Pickering. I said it and I meant it, and a bet is a bet. I maintain I can take anybody, and I mean anybody, and turn him into a first-rate stand-up comedian. Now,
Oh, he missed the uncle joke there. A lot of that, usually in comedy, you say, if you mention an uncle, you mention that they somehow molested you. That's usually a classic joke to do. He missed that, unfortunately.
but Professor, your kids today have been brainwashed, programmed with bad comedy. If it's not screamed in their ears or smashed in their face, they just don't get it.
precisely, Pickering, which is why this shall be my greatest triumph. I'm telling you, I can take the most wretched perpetrator of sophomoric generic comedy drivel and turn him into a seamless paragon of that most endangered form of expression, wit.
Can't be done.
Think of it, Pickering. A comedian so well versed in the issues of the day that all the land will hail him as a social commentator.
Absurd.
He'll be compared.
Hey, could you explain why these accents are funny? Yes, so these are fancy person accents. I don't know if you've been around a fancy person before. They sound like this. Once you reach a certain income bracket, you start to sound sort of like a mid-Atlantic accent, which is like a British combined with a New York accent. It's just something that changes in you. It's not really like a cultural thing. It's like a genetic thing. When you earn a certain amount of money, your body produces more blood cells, and you just start to sound like this. I mean, it's definitely a goal of mine for sure. As you see the joke explainer getting more and more popular, you'll start to notice that my accent changes and becomes fancier over time.
Will Rogers and the great Chaplin. But don't make me laugh. But he will. I'll go one further, Pickering. He'll make you laugh, and he'll make you think.
Oh, no. There, Higgins, now you've gone too far. Don't forget we're talking about your very own nephew.
Only I could take even that mindless gutter snipe and turn him into a comedian worthy of his own special on America's largest pay cable network. HBO.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Hey, Unc. Hey, how's it hanging? Hey, the Pickster, the Pickman, the Pickhead, Pickle Brain, Colonel Kangaroo. How you guys doing? Hey, what'd you run out of lewds?
Oh, shut up. You're making me sick.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Don't you have one single...
That's some incredible special effects there. So he's got Jerry Miner says, could you explain the opening sketch phenom of 90s stand-up specials? Yeah, so in the old days, it was important to keep people's attention for stand-up. So you'd have to show them off that people were used more to watching funny movies and stuff there. So you'd have to start out with a mini funny movie and then kind of ambush them with stand-up comedy so they'd kind of stick around there. I think a lot of this is, it's different now. Stand-up comedy specials usually they still have opening sketches, but it's usually the stand-up comic backstage with all his homies, and he'll be high-fiving them in fun ways, and they'll all be showing the cool sneakers that they have, and they'll be like vaping at each other and stuff like that, and then they'll go on stage. But that just is to show people that they're cool.
original thought of your own?
Oh yeah, I got something. I'm gonna joke you guys off now. Okay, ready? You're gonna love this. Okay, Jack.
He says, I'm gonna joke you guys off right now. So you notice, that is a little micro joke there. So it sounds like I'm gonna jerk you guys off right now. So this is why Bill Maher had a special on HBO.
Nicholson, if he worked at McDonald's, okay? I think it might go,
Get on with it! So where do the McNuggets fit back into the fucking chicken?
You're in deep shit now, Higgins.
Okay, I don't understand. He did make kind of a funny face, a little bit of physical comedy there, but he did laugh at what he said, which lets me know it is funny. Because if he finds it funny, I find it funny. That's also a golden rule here.
Yes, old sod, but at least there's progress. This time there were no props.
Oh, that reminds me. I got a great one. Oh, watch this. You're going to love this. Okay. Hang tight. All right.
What is that?
It's a balloon animal.
Pickering, would you do the honors, please?
With pleasure.
Dear boy, is it really your intention to make me physically ill? Don't you have...
So it's also, so a lot of the joke about this as well is that Bill Maher is playing both characters here. So this joke, especially in 1989, this shoot probably would have taken 3-4 months and probably had a crew of at least 100 people. And the computer that was used to create this CGI was probably the size of an IKEA. So huge budget for comedy back then. You wouldn't see stuff like this now.
One single original thought? Something, anything based in reality?
Yeah. I wrote a joke. I don't know if it's any good, but I was thinking, like, since my mother's Jewish and my father's Catholic, maybe when I went into confession, I would bring a lawyer in with me.
That's funny.
Yes, but he must have a tag.
Huh. Yeah, I got that. And then I say, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I think you know Mr. Cohen.
By George, he's got it! He's got it! He's really got it now! Oh, I think
There you go.
He has got it! He's got it! By George, he's got it! I'm telling you, he's got it!
Great opening sketch there. So that's kind of a parody of how Bill Maher started doing comedy and how he learned how to do comedy, as he would do comedy for his fancy uncles. So it sets the tone here. So I think most of the stand-up is going to be about probably uncle-based humor for people who are uncles here. So. So pretty wacky font. It's the comedy font there.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bill Maher.
There he is. Oh, man. And this is before podcasts, so no one knew who he was. You would get a comedy special based on if a certain mob family enjoyed your material at the Copacabana.
Thank you. Stop! Oh, boy. Well, okay. Well, thank you very much for that fake pumped-up TV applause. It really makes a guy feel good, and it's really nice to be doing an HBO special. I tell you, when I first started doing comedy on television, I thought it'd be a great way to meet girls, but now I kind of wish I'd been an evangelist. Where's he from the East? Am I from the East?
Okay, so that might have been like a topical news joke about something happening in the news back then. So it's important when you watch Bill Maher's special, 1989, take a scroll through the news archives just to familiarize yourself before you watch.
Japan is my home. And the Osaka area, anybody?
Nice location comedy there, yes.
Actually, I moved out here from New York City, which...
Nice, yes. It's always good. Always say you live in New York, you're from New York. When you do stand-up, you're from either New York, Los Angeles, or obviously now you want to say you're from Austin, Texas. Doesn't matter where you're from. In actuality, just say you're from those places, and you'll get a big applause break, because then people know you're a real comedian.
I never liked, and... Well, I'm sorry, it is the rudest city in the world, New York City. In fact, I do... Please,
careful.
I do one impression. I'd like to do it for you now. My impression of a New York City cop after the crucifixion of Christ. Show's over.
Oh, man. Big applause break for that impression there. So a spot on him. So that's funny, because if you guys have ever met a New York cop in the 80s, they sound like that. They'll say things like "show's over," like it's a very New Yorkie accent, and the crowd recognizes that. And so when the thing they know lines up with the impression, it creates a humorous experience. And everybody in there is dressed for vacation. To the 80s, there's kind of at the tail end of the economic prosperity generated by Ronald Reagan deregulating the economy, and crumbling government agencies allowed a lot of people to make a lot of money. And so people are just basically living in vacation mode there. Ghost Mustard says, "Hey, I'm walking here." See, that's a perfect New York joke.
Well, that's it for impressions, but...
Move along, wise guy.
No. Well, we probably have college students here tonight, and...
Yeah, big college.
Oh,
still.
That's too many. But...
still Bill Maher's popular with college kids.
No. It's just all changed so much. I mean, I sometimes do colleges, and first of all, they drink more. Now, when I was in college, we did drugs, and I think we were better off. You know, if you're gonna get fucked up, be a man about it and take a drug. This drinking beer and puking on your shoes is nowhere. Boy, when I was in college, we did acid and mushrooms and... Did I mention acid?
All right, so this is in the old days. So naming drugs was very funny in the old days because it wasn't as mainstream back then. So a lot of Bill Maher's comedy is about saying things that a lot of people did not accept as part of the mainstream culture at that point. So crowd is already going nuts. College kids love him talking about drugs. Very funny.
I don't remember what the drugs were, but we enjoyed them, and... No. College, I did too much. College, my motto was, if you're not wasted, the day is. Which is... No way to live.
Yes, so that's a very complicated way of saying, "Are you guys drinking tonight?" Which is the uniform opening comedian joke. So instead of just saying, "Are you guys drinking tonight?" He mentions that he enjoys alcohol, which the crowd will always respond positively to. Very funny stuff.
Drugs are really one of the things that makes me feel old because, you know, I used to, college, I knew all the drugs, I did all the drugs. Now, there are drugs I ain't never heard of, never seen. I have to read about it in the paper. You know, crack is on the news every day, and they just rub it in. Crack is everywhere. Anybody can get crack anywhere. I can't get crack. Really. Help an old man. What street corners? What schoolyards? I'll go, but... I could be in Macy's window. Crack.
Huge belly laugh from these people here. So the joke here is that he really he wants crack cocaine, and that would be not a good thing to do. So he's saying the opposite of what you're supposed to say. So the crowd is laughing because of the absurdity of him wanting to get access to crack cocaine. And a lot of people were thinking about crack cocaine these days. This is the 80s. Ronald Reagan made it so that if you were found with crack cocaine, you would be shot out of a catapult into the Gulf of America.
Not that I want to do crack. I would just like, if I did, I would know where to get it. But I'm not an old fart who doesn't know where the drugs are anymore, but... I've never even seen it, which makes me as bad as my father when he, because he used to find marijuana. He didn't know what marijuana was. He could find a whole bag, and I'd just go, boy, the things you track in from outdoors. Pot, Dad, those are seeds for Israel. No, I'm very wistful about those days, because I went to college kind of at the end of that hippie era, and maybe it's because the first girl I ever met at college, it was one of the last of the real flower children, a true hippie, and I never forget we were in bed the first time, and it's a little delicate, but you're in...
Whoa, a little bit of a humble brag, talking about having sex. It's good to remind the audience you're a very cool person when you're doing stand-up. Then they'll laugh. When they know you're out there sleeping with women, boy, people will laugh because they'll know that this guy's a slick, cool guy.
A nice crowd, I'll tell you. But she was such a hippie. We're in bed, and she was touching herself all over. And, you know, I'm from New Jersey. I didn't know. I said, what gives?
That's a little New Jersey joke. So that's like an early Joey Diaz joke. You guys see that? So you can see the influence on Joey Diaz when someone says, I'm from New Jersey. You know, that is a building block of Joey's career.
And, you know, her answer was so hippie. She said, well, it's like when we make love, there's no me and no you. Our bodies are like one continuous being. I said, okay, but how about paying some attention to our dick?
What? I don't understand.
Now, you're a good crowd, you deserve a dick joke. That's the way I look at it, ladies and gentlemen. And,
I gotta hear that again.
But she was such a hippie. We're in bed, and she was touching
Okay, I gotta hear
herself
this again.
all over. And, you know, I'm from New Jersey. I didn't know.
Okay, from New Jersey. That's funny. New Jersey's a fun place, yeah.
I said, what gives? And, you know, her answer was so hippie. She said, well, it's like when we make love, there's no me and no you. Our bodies are like one continuous being. I said, okay, but how about paying some attention to our dick?
Okay. There it is. Okay, I get it now. Very funny. So he's annoyed this hippie chick because progressive chicks are obsessed with having orgasms, not like the cool New Jersey girls. And so Bill is upset that she isn't jerking him off and instead is pleasuring herself. And he's making a joke that he wants crack cocaine and he wants to be jerked off. But he's not getting either of these things, so he's very frustrated. And so people imagining that frustration is why it's so funny here.
Now, you're a good crowd, you deserve a dick joke. That's the way I look at it, ladies and gentlemen. But no, it all has changed. I mean, when I went to school, boy, at least there were causes and people cared and there were issues. And the biggest protest song I've heard in the 1980s is the Beastie Boys singing, "You've got to fight for your right to party."
A little bit of name comedy there. So he mentions the Beastie Boys, very popular in the 80s. So when people hear a band they like, they get happy, they laugh, they'll clap. So that's a good name comedy joke there. They recognize that. Good band humor, says Danny Miranovic, yes.
Not exactly blowing in the wind, is it? I mean, we had the war, racism, ecology. These kids have to fight for their right to party. I mean, can we have a benefit?
So he's already angry. Okay, I thought he was young here, but he has actually become old already, and he's already annoyed at the up and coming generation, which is Generation X. So a lot of Bill Maher's humor is about complaining about people that are younger than him, which statistically at this point is most of the human population. So he's quite an angry guy with a lot of funny things to say.
For these kids right now, was the Constitution that blind? Come on. Oh, I know what you young people are saying. You're saying, sure, there are world problems. But what can we do about it? We're no folk singers. But you have to try, at least ask the key questions. What is the nature of man? What is the meaning of life? Is wrestling fixed? What is Martinizing, and why does it take only 1 hour?
Okay. So he's already saying that the generation coming up behind him isn't concerned about cultural issues, doesn't care, is more concerned about wrestling and if they can party or not. Just a bunch of whining millennials that were all born in the 1970s.
Well, those are about as complex as the issues got in the '88 election. I mean, I must say, yeah.
Yeah. Big politics humor here.
I mean, after watching that whole thing, how many agree with me? Maybe this whole democracy thing is not for us, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe. Now, don't you think people that have to organize the presidential debates around the baseball playoffs, maybe a little priority enema is in order there? I mean, and Ronald Reagan, God bless him, we can talk about him now that he's gone. I mean, He did some good things, but I must say he also kind of made dumbness a virtue. You know, I mean...
Yes. So a lot of America, so unlike today where America is generally a lot of people, everybody agrees on everything. In the 80s, America was quite a divided place. And Bill Maher, he knew that his fans were on the left. And so he often made fun of people that were conservative or religious. Which is very smart to do because the audience agrees with him. And when you're doing agreement comedy, it's a lot easier because people already agree with you. So they'll just laugh and clap because they also think the same things. A lot of Bill's comedy is about saying things that people are already thinking of. So the laughter response is from agreement. So great stuff. Conservatives are dumb. Is that joke there?
What made me laugh the most is George Bush would critique Dukakis by saying he was Harvard. He went to his Harvard, and he was serious. And yeah, smart and serious. Who want those qualities in a president, huh? You know, better to have a Mr. Happy Face for 8 years, isn't it? You know, Bush went to Yale, but he plays that Yale. That was the Yale locksmith school. Come on, I went to Chico State. Please, you know.
Okay, there's a lot of kind of university profession jokes here. I believe he's saying locksmithing is not impressive. If you went to where everybody knows that all the best locksmiths in the world go to the Yale locksmith school, so I don't know why he's making fun of them. Obviously, he's never had to escape a locked room before, like myself.
Oh, God. But, you know, the big virtue with Reagan was he was a nice guy. Everybody always defended him. He was a nice guy. Like, that's a reason to run the world. He's a nice guy. Good, let him get a little store, okay? You know? You want a bag with that? Perfect for him, you know? It's... Nice guy. We need a great man. I mean, there is a difference, you know. General George S. Patton, for example, defeated the Nazis. Was a great man. Dick Van Patten is a nice guy. You don't switch their jobs, you know. You don't send Dick to beat the Nazis. And
so, again, this is a very different style of comedy. He's sort of doing light news commentary, similar to what he does on his TV show. So. It's not a lot of it. It's not a set-up punchline jokes. He just sort of, he sees what's going on in the news, and he makes like little comments on it. And because everyone has seen the same news, because this is in the old days, everybody used to watch the same news in the 80s. Now everybody gets what I believe are called news nuggets, which are like 11-second TikTok dances that are delivered to your phone, and somebody dances the latest headlines to you, and everybody gets individual ones, so not everyone's getting the same information. But in the old days, everyone would be watching the same news, and so Bill knew that everyone was watching the same news, and he could comment on that news, and everyone would laugh because they'd be like, I remember seeing that news as well.
You certainly wouldn't want the general on 8 is enough. But no, I never realized until recently that Reagan had a meaning to his madness. I mean, you know, he established very early on that he knew nothing, that government was not his field, and then when all the shit hit the fan in his second term, he could just go, I don't know, and everybody believed him.
Yeah. So the crowd does not like Ronald Reagan, all right? So when Bill says something negative about Ronald Reagan, they laugh and clap. It's amazing that they laugh as well as clap because, I mean, I guess they're just kind of laughing at Reagan because they hate him. So, yeah, it's mostly agreement comedy here, not explicitly humorous, but it's still funny because people are laughing.
You know, Nixon said, I don't know. Everybody went, yeah, sure. Reagan said it. Reagan said he went, oh, well, okay. Well, that's a powerful I don't know from this guy. When he says I don't know, I believe him, you know. I mean, everybody caught hell for that Iran-Contra scandal.
Nobody believed Reagan could have masterminded anything, you know. I mean...
Yeah, Reagan sucks. So that the last 6 minutes has been Ronald Reagan sucks. That's the crux of the humor there. Nick says, Bill's disadvantage is that he's never had a wife, so he can't talk about how annoying she is. That's true. It is important as a comedian to make sure you have a wife that you can talk about the annoying things your wife does. It's really important in stand-up. That's really a fulcrum of a lot of acts. Lamp says that this set reminds her of her elementary school. That does make me nostalgic. I'm not going to lie. I had a lot of fun times with Play-Doh in front of a set that looked like that as well.
The thought of him with maps and diversions and the money, oh, come on. I mean, lucky if he can understand the plan, this guy. I mean, if it didn't fit on a one-page summary, forget about it. It was government by cue card for 8 years. Yeah, Ron means everything he reads. But, you know, this thing about this old chestnut about the wisdom of the people, oh, don't make me laugh. I mean, we've done nothing but pick schmucks and losers for 200 years. I mean, who was good? Lincoln and Washington. Ooh, beginner's luck.
You know. I love his little giggles after he says things. It's very self-assured because he's assuring himself that what he said was funny. I mean, you gotta laugh when he laughs. It's infectious. His likability's off the charts.
You know, I mean, God, I thought, you know, Nixon and Carter, I thought that was like the bottom of the barrel, but Dan Quayle came along and proved that if you lift up the barrel...
Dan Quayle. Anyone in the chat know who Dan Quayle is? He got a big applause break here.
I never thought that'd be someone who made me miss Reagan, but he does, because at least Reagan was a nice guy. You know, you could never really hate him. But I used to actually feel sorry for him sometimes.
A bird.
You know, like at
Thank
a press
you.
conference. He hated press conferences. He never had one. But when he had one, you know, I felt so bad for him because, you know, it was a test of knowledge. He has none. It was a quiz. He didn't study, you know, and they would fire these questions at him, and the poor guy would get a look in his eye. It was that look your dog gets when you switch a ball from hand to hand, you know.
Okay, so okay, so this is also, there's many layers. So this is probably the most advanced agreement comedy I've ever seen. You know, a lot of comedians have some sort of agreement comedy where their audience is agreeing with their opinions, but Bill here, he's got conservatives. So these are Democrats. They hate Republicans, so they agree with him there. They agree they don't like Ronald Reagan, but they also agree that everybody else is dumb and they are all smart, and Bill is smart. Which is not very self-aware, but very effective as an agreement comedy mechanism. So very funny stuff here. Big applause breaks.
Dumb as a block of wood, this guy. I mean, what a nice guy, you know, nice guys. Sometimes I would watch him and I think, this guy really doesn't even know what job he has. No, because you ever see him when he goes out to get the plane or the helicopter? The reporters always shout questions across the way. He would do...
I'm fascinated by this phenomenon, and I'm going to do an example for this right now. And I want to see how you guys feel and respond. Right now, everybody watching this stream is way smarter than everybody who is not watching this stream right now. Can you feel the agreement flowing through you right now? Everybody else is dumb. You guys are extremely smart. Thanks for the applause, everybody.
Do this every time.
Oh, please stop. You guys
like
are too
he's gonna miss
loud.
the plane. You know, I mean, does he know who he is, this guy? I mean, what was he thinking? The pilot, hey, buddy, I don't care who you are. This thing's getting up on time, and... But, you know, how could you hate a guy who was that modest and nice? You know, and he always had that sympathy list. You know, he was nice, and he was old, and he got shot, and he had cancer, and he had something on his nose, and he had something up his ass. You know, I mean...
Hey, something's up his ass. So something's up his ass. That's a butt joke. Remember, the butts are things going in the ass is funny because butts are funny, poo is funny, and
something new in there, weren't they?
it's all very funny.
Well, we found Ed Meese's old high school ring in there yesterday.
And gay is funny. Yes, gay is funny. But gay people don't always put stuff in their butt. I've learned that recently. I was doing some research. They don't always do that. So it can't always be. You don't know if it's explicitly a gay joke. So it can be tricky. But I've been researching.
There was a great guy, Ed Meese, huh? With his pornography commission, like that was the biggest issue facing America. Yeah, get the Playboys out of the 7-Elevens. What could be more important? As if he wasn't. You ever see Ed Meese? What a sleazebag. He looked like the kind of guy.
Ed Meese.
More than
Is that what he
once in
said?
his life used the phrase. Yeah, but how much for just a blowjob?
So we're about halfway done. He's still kind of talking about the news, keeping it topical.
At least you're rooting for him. You wanted him to get better. And of course, it was a moot point anyway, because you couldn't kill him with a stick, this guy.
Okay, so his HBO comedy special is just sort of recapping the 1988 election. I believe that's most of the joke here.
He was like one of those monsters in a horror movie, you know? I mean, he got shot, he got cancer, there was an axe in his head. Reagan 2, Reagan 3, Reagan 4. You know.
A lot of clapping. Very
Like
smart
Jason
crowd.
goes to the White House with this guy, you know. It's so funny, you know, in Russia, the guy gets a cold, he's dead in a week. But this guy... And that's why George Bush fought such a dirty campaign to get there, because he wanted it so bad, because he thought he was going to get it 8 years ago.
So he's talking about George Bush the first here. So there was again, this is about 70, 80 years ago. The first George Bush the first. He invaded Iraq, and then his son, I guess at the dinner table, he's like, his son was like, Dad, I want to do what you did for a living. I want to be a president. I want to invade Iraq as well. And so it's kind of like a Bush family tradition. So if it's actually an interesting fact, I don't know if you know this, but if Jeb Bush had won the presidential election in recent times, he would have invaded Iraq a third time. So I believe he was going to pull troops out of Iraq, wait a week, and then go back in. Just because it's like a family tradition.
Go. You know, when he was vice president, he was thinking, hey, what is he, 90? I'll be in there in a week. Come on, you know. He probably went around the White House trying to scare him. Boo! You know. Well, he's got it now. President Bush and Vice President Quayle working for a better yesterday. I would like him a lot better if he would just come out and admit that Quayle is a snot-nosed, blow-dried little rich kid.
Get him. Okay, so the audience doesn't like Dan Quayle either. So all you have to do is say, fuck that guy, and that's the main joke here.
Who went down to the draft board in his pantyhose and, you know, just... He always says he's a defense expert. Oh, yeah, you know.
Okay, so now I believe this section is going to be making fun of Dan Quayle. I can't picture him. I don't know him, but I'm not as smart as Bill Maher's audience. So I think there was a little bit of a joke there about Dan Quayle in women's underwear, which is a funny thing to imagine because, you know, women's underwear goes on women. And a man wearing women's underwear is absurd, which is very funny. So that's the joke there.
Quayle's big plan, blow up Chicago, then tell the Russians, hey, that's what we do to a city we like, okay? And that wife of his, Mrs. Quayle, that is a Republican-looking bitch. I'm sorry. But,
yeah, fuck them.
She's not ugly, she's just Republican looking, and that's worse. I mean, you know, even George Bush, who apparently married his mother, even he looks at her and goes, hey, that's still Republican, okay? I mean, the Democrats are more disorganized, but they have more fun, you know? I mean, John F. Kennedy, even my hero, I mean, here's a guy who made love to Marilyn Monroe in the White House. To me, that's what this country is all about, ladies and gentlemen. If you need a bigger...
Yeah, he's making fun of women there. It's kind of reminding audiences about women. When people think of women, they think, oh, women are annoying, and then they laugh. So that's kind of the joke there.
Ego trip than that, I don't know where you go, because have one finger on the button and the other 9 on Marilyn Monroe. Gee, should I blow up the world or come? What do I feel like?
Come. Very hip, very cool audience.
That would be good for me now.
Come, very funny substance, come.
My needs be served. Bobby, help me with this one, would you please? Jack and Bobby, they were so dynamic, those Kennedys. Ted, unfortunately, is like Fredo in The Godfather. You know, oh, he's that slow, brother.
Okay, so he's going to move on to the Kennedy family now. Very political act here. He's naming political candidates, and he is recapping a presidential election. So very political stand-up, but, you know, wouldn't be for a lot of people, but Bill's audience is exceptionally intelligent, and only the smartest people think about politics all the time.
Now, there is one reason I like Dan Quayle, because he's also the drug czar, and I like drugs. I want the most ineffective person in the world. He's not going to stop Noriega, this guy. Noriega, a good example of how, you know, Reagan was always saying, we're standing up, standing tall. Remember Noriega? We told him in Panama, get out! Whatever's good for you, you know. Just,
Noriega.
We're going to have to close the Panama Canal. I would hate to be the first boat to hear, you got to go around. Sorry. Sorry. Let me give you directions. Go past South America. You're going to want to make a right. Don't. But, I mean, let's face it. Since Vietnam, we've only fought with countries we know we can beat the shit out of anyway. I mean, we attacked Grenada. There was a battle, huh, boy? We kicked some ass there.
Okay, so he's going. He's again. He's sort of recapping the news. Still.
Our finest hour, or half hour, as the case may be.
Okay, so it was very easy to beat Grenada. That's the joke there, which it was. Very easy.
Then we attacked Libya, tried to kill Gaddafi. He's the president of the country, lives in a tent. We couldn't kill him. How hard is it to get a bomb in a tent? That's a double net thing, sir. We couldn't, I mean, this is a crack military. Remember the raid into Iran to get the hostages out? That was, you know, the helicopters back into each other. I mean, to dying in battle is one thing. To have an accident in the parking lot, I mean... Wow, just at least get to the gig, fellas, you know.
It's actually so incredible to watch this. Like, I can't imagine like I think Bill Maher has done a Race and Santa special, and I think a lot of his fans must have followed him through his career, because the style of stand-up of recapping recent events, I don't know if it would work today. It'd be interesting to try. It'd be interesting to see a comedian try this in front of an audience that doesn't know who they are. If they just go up and just start, just not really having jokes, but just sort of talking about things that have happened, and then saying that it's dumb. Like, you know, it's dumb that this happened. Hey, there was a plane crash. That's dumb. Like, why did they do that? That's stupid of them. And then seeing if the crowd would have such a big response.
We had a ship blown up in the Persian Gulf last year, and what really killed me about this one was, you know how they spotted the missile coming at them? It's true, a lookout. What are we, in Columbus's day now? I mean, there's $1 billion defense budget. There's a guy in the crow's nest up there. Hey, laddie! It's an exocet coming right at us!
Great, hey, good accent there.
Sonar. No, there's a parrot on the guy's shoulder. What?
You're making fun of inferior military technology. which is funny because it's true. Like the U.S. has the most advanced military, and when they invade tinier countries, there's not as much money. A lot of the time, they don't have as good of a military. Funny that's kind of a funny observation that he's making, and as a funny image of a guy being a pirate. And yes, it's it's very funny stuff. Again, it's of the time, but you do learn a lot about events through Bill Maher. Again, a lot of the humor is that Bill noticed someone else doing something, and that person is dumb, because Bill is smart. So there's the contrast there. A lot of the comedy is the contrast between Bill Maher, who's very smart, and people he notices that are dumb.
But, you know, people love it. It always plays great in the press. You know, we bombed Libya. People went, yeah, let's bomb them back to the Stone Age. Great. What's that going to set them back? 3 weeks? I mean,
hey, Libya sucks. Hey, he's just dunking on Libya a little bit there as well. The audience hates Libya, I think. So they don't like Libya. They don't like conservatives, and they don't like Ronald Reagan, and they fucking hate Dan Quayle. So Bill knows.
I never see good news coming out of these countries that we sell arms to. Iran. I've never seen Iran seeks peace, finds cure.
Yeah, Ann Poehler says, LOL, economically depressed nations. It's true. It is very funny when a nation is poorer and doesn't have as many resources, because it's like, you know, go get them. Like, a lot of reason why countries are poor is a lot of reason why people are poor. It's like, well, they just don't work hard enough. You just simply have to grind. If the country of Libya woke up earlier in the morning and listened to Tony Robbins' audiobooks at 2 times speed, you know, I'm sure they'd be a rich nation in 10 years, but they just simply refuse to be rich, which is funny. That's a funny thing, because why would you do that?
Here, the latest, Iran has now threatened to cut off their supply of obnoxious convenience store managers to this country. When I was in school, I remember, you know, we used to give clothing away. What's this with giving guns? I mean, it was so cute, you know. We used to watch these National Geographic films, and we'd give clothing to natives who, of course, they didn't want it. You know, these are people who live naked, and they would get there, and it didn't look good on them, you know. I mean, see them milling around naked now. One guy's naked with, like, a paisley vest, you know, just walking around like, hi, boys, what do you think, huh?
Yes. So the joke here is just Bill Maher's just pointing out that a lot of the developing world is full of destitute, dumb savages, which is very funny because it's like, again, why would they do that?
Look at the way it goes with my balls. It picks up the brown very nicely, I think. It's not just something I slap together.
Great stuff.
You know who's got the best way of running a government? The Israelis. I don't know if they do this, but they used to have this coalition government where they had 2 guys running the thing of equal power. And this is what Jewish merchants have done for hundreds of years. You know, one guy negotiates with the Arabs and he says, look, my partner's on vacation. I'd take this deal now. When he gets back, he's going to hit the roof.
Okay.
Well, I can make those jokes because I'm half Jewish myself. No, I was raised Catholic. My father's Catholic.
Here we go.
Formally, but
bread and butter.
Jewish, and I've always had the Jewish mind. Like, for example, we used to go into confession, as Catholics do, and I would bring a lawyer in with me. You know?
Hey, boom! Classic Jewish joke about Jewish people. I don't know if you guys know any Jewish people, but that's a classic funny thing. They always bring lawyers and accountants wherever they go if they aren't a lawyer or accountant themselves. So that's just a common sense stereotype joke. Everybody knows that stereotype. So they just laugh.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I think you know Mr. Cohen. It's not easy, half and half. You know, I mean, there are holidays or some are very tough for me. Good Friday.
Thompson mentions, yeah, my bingo card is happy. I see you're not on Twitch. We actually have a game we're going to play on the Rumble stream on Monday. We have a bingo card of all the jokes that Gutfeld is probably going to make during his monologue. And we're all going to play bingo together. And we'll have to come up with a prize. But it should be very fun because we've noticed a lot of the Gutfeld monologues have been very similar.
It's a tough day for me. I mean, I'm happy, I'm sad, it's good news, it's bad news, it's all the holidays. I used to confuse Easter and Groundhog Day. Yeah, you know, I thought Christ rose from the grave. If he saw a shadow...
Huge screams from the crowd on that one. So that joke is about combining Groundhog Day and Easter, which is a funny on so many different levels, because Easter is a very serious holiday about Jesus coming back from the dead to establish the United States. And then Groundhog Day, which is a very silly holiday where Americans observe what a rodent sees and determines if there's winter or not, which is in itself very funny because no one really knows what a rodent sees. Hopefully, with Neuralink, we'll be able to actually see through the groundhog's actual corneas to determine weather forecasts in the future.
More winter, and who needs that in your coffee? But, no,
Whoa, Lamp switching over to Twitch to get a colorful name in the chat. That's also a good hack if you guys on Twitch. I don't know how this happens, but you get real VIP treatment in the chat.
I was raised on Jewish cooking, which is unfortunate because that is the worst food in the world. Only guilty people would eat like this. I mean, do you ever have Jewish cooking? I mean, these flat pieces of matzah, cardboard. I mean, I would say to my mother, why do you eat like this? And she would say, what Jews say to everything, tradition. This is the way we ate when the Egyptians were chasing us. Ma, it's been 5,000 years. Let the bread rise. Well, you'd think the Pharaoh was right on our ass, you know? I mean, we're living in New Jersey. We're not going to have to part the Hudson River to get out of here.
Hey.
Californians think they're health conscious, but they eat the same crap that I see in the stores back east. And my favorite is there's one on the pretzel aisle, Mr. Salty Pretzels. But that takes a lot of nerve nowadays. Everything is, you know, low salt, no salt, salt free. Here's one guy, hey, fuck you, Mr. Salty Pretzels.
Wow.
Mr. Tar and Nicotine Cigarettes. Go ahead, yo. Mr. Gristle and Hard Artery Beef Sticks. I think that's the...
So many references.
Worst food I ever had was in England. People know this about London, right? It's unbelievable. I mean, there are cockroaches in restaurants going, now I'm going to grab something on the way home.
British food sucks. British food sucks, guys. That's I don't know if Bill Maher started this joke or he's just continuing the tradition of British food sucking.
Boat people come in, they go, no, we're good. Thank you. I had something last year. I was over there when I was in college. I was an exchange student for a couple of weeks, kind of my own program. And it's quite a country, because the first thing you learn, of course, is that you don't speak English. We speak American, which I found out the first day. I was taking a test, and this English guy asked me if he could borrow a rubber. Which arched a brow with me. I don't know about you, but... Do you know what that is in England?
Yeah, in England... So Americans say potato chips, but in England they say a rubber.
An eraser. Well, I didn't know. Okay.
Oh, never mind. It's an eraser.
I'm thinking, what does he want one now for? And if you're going to borrow it, keep it. Boy, I know they've hit hard times over there, but if they're reusing those things... Get another Lend-Lease going.
Oh, okay. Quick Google search here. A rubber is a condom in the United States. It's an old-timey, certain generation of people would call condoms rubbers. because in the old days, condoms were made out of rubber. And nowadays, they're made of, I believe, polypropylene, some sort of plastic that coats the penis in microplastics, rendering the male sterile for up to 35 years.
Going, 'cause then I had a woman said to me one night, she said, would you come around in the morning and knock me up?
This crowd's going wild because it's funny for Americans to imagine countries that aren't the United States. It's absurd that there are countries outside of America, because it doesn't really make sense. Why would there be? People in those countries often act pretty wacky. So they're laughing at the cultural differences and also the absurdity of other nation states.
I said, sure. I said, if that's the custom, I don't want to be the ugly American over here. That just means come by and say hello, which is embarrassing when you show up naked. I mean, all I can tell her is don't use that phrase in America, because here it means use an eraser. So, you know. Thank you very much. You've been a great crowd.
Oh, boom. There it is. So big English bit there. Great callback to the eraser from the beginning. He turns around, leaves the stage, and goes on to make $10 million a year for the next 59 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Bill Maher's 1989 One Night Stand on HBO. Again, this was a huge event in the old days. Stand-up comedy. There was only maybe 6-7 comedians working. Now there is debate between if there's 250 comedians or 1,000. The science is always changing. I think the U.S. Census is going to be asking for you to check a box if you're a stand-up comedian or not. But yeah, that was really interesting. A lot of reference humor, a lot of references. You guys can see here, I didn't explain the pin, but I got, this is the one of the 1,000 enamel pin that is being sent out to our 6-month Patreon subscribers. You'll be getting those very shortly when they leave Austin through the mail. I think the U.S. Post Office is still being funded for some reason. But yeah, if you to be one of the 1,000, you either have to do stand-up comedy or be one of the few working professional comedians, or subscribe to our Patreon, and you can also be one of the 1,000. So yeah, Bill Maher, that was a lot to think about. I haven't really seen comedy that's so specifically sort of just combing over the newspaper and just sort of making comments. But that provided a template for a lot of his shows. He did Politically Incorrect and then Real Time with Bill Maher, a darling of the HBO family. And he would bring people on his show and debate them. Now he has become a huge podcaster with Club Random, where it's a lot of the same takes, a lot of the same joke. He talks about how he's very smart and people. He talks about people that he notices are dumb and not as smart as him. So very funny, but very specific kind of audience. Very similar to Howie Mandel, a lot of in jokes. You know, and Bill Maher would mention people like Dan Quayle. The crowd would go insane. Sort of the same way Howie Mandel would make a sort of a screeching sound, and the audience would go wild as well. The 80s is a different time. There was a lot of economic prosperity in America back then. People were just buying and living in houses at will. And so people were just more loose and laughy back then. It can be a bit harder doing comedy nowadays. I mean, it was at least until the Trump administration made comedy legal again, but comedy was illegal for quite a few years there. But we're back on the track. We're back on the right track here, and things are getting funny again. Okay, let's contrast. So this is an interesting theme we've got for today. So that was kind of one of the comedy specials that made Bill Maher's career. It made him blow up. It got him signed to big agencies and allowed him to buy as many houses as he wanted in the greater California area. And of course, pay the most expensive escorts to have sex with him. We're going to look at something else here that is also a foundational comedy special. Well, not special, I should say, but this is a video of Chris D'Elia. This is the video that made Chris D'Elia explode. So a combination of this clip reaching massive heights and Chris D'Elia's father putting a good word in with other producers helped Chris really blow up here. Lamp says it's better to have rich people in charge of most of the property since they're more responsible and smarter. Yes, Lamp, you get it. You understand. This is how the economy works. If you give rich people money, you get jobs. If you give poor people money, you get inflation. Because rich people will take that money, they'll invest it in various companies and corporations and dividends, but poor people will just, if you give poor people money, they'll just go out and buy food because they need nutrients. And if a bunch of poor people go out and buy food, then the food companies are going to jack up the prices and you get inflation. So it's always better just to make sure the wealthiest people have all the money and get all the bailouts because they know what to do with it. Poor people don't know what to do with money. That's why they're poor. It's pretty basic stuff. Lamp, yeah, you bought toilet paper. See, that's a little selfish of you. Please, if you didn't buy toilet paper and you saved that money, you wouldn't be poor anymore. So. I hate to be a Debbie Downer on you, but it's kind of how it works. All right. Speaking of wealthy people, so this clip, I remember seeing this clip when this went viral 22 years ago. And this is probably a lot of people say why they love Chris D'Elia so much. So I remember this clip going viral, but I actually haven't watched this clip all the way through. I wasn't as much of a comedy appreciator back then. I honestly clicked away pretty quick when this would pop up on my feed, but I'm going to watch it now with you guys. We shouldn't get demonetized. I mean, the stream shouldn't get taken down because this is, I believe, old enough that it's no longer in the copyright domain here.
They don't even know what they're talking about. They think they do. Hey, guess what? You didn't even know.
Okay, so this is what drunk girls are really like. So the setup is already funny because you've got girls who are annoying, and then it's a drunk girl, and you can already tell he's going to do a great voice here.
What is it? Excuse me, where you going? You know what it is it?
Okay, so that's what he's slurring his speech, which is an effect that alcohol has on the brain. But he's also doing like a girl voice, which is annoying.
Yeah, you know what it is? You know what I'm saying in there? Dowson or waffle? Is that what it is? Excuse me, you never saying it? What it is saying that we're saying? And we're Dowson and all them booting in the back Obama? Is that what it is?
So this is like a nonsense. He's just doing this. So drunk women are twice as annoying as sober women because they slur their words. They can't put thoughts together. So Chris knows this, and he's doing a perfect impression.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Nothing matters.
Chris has been, I think, he's been around a lot of intoxicated women in his life, so it helped inform his impression.
To a drunk girl at all. Nothing. You'd be like, yo, there's a crocodile right next to you. Excuse me, I have a question for you.
So he's creating a funny, situation here. Hey, thank you for subscribing to the Bachelors of Music. Look at that, we got ourselves a little star up there. Welcome, Alex. I'm glad you are understanding why this is so funny.
Is it your crocodile? No, exactly. They'll just add to it. You afraid that it's gonna take her job? Is that what it is? Are you scared a crocodile is gonna take her job? Hello, it doesn't even have pants on. You can't. How many people have no pants with a job? You can't. You're like, do you even need me for this conversation? No, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm an independent woman. I don't need you. I don't need your help. I just stand here. The shoes on my feet. I bought them. I don't care.
Okay, huge applause break there. So that's a big punctuation. So a lot of it is about timing. Comedy is all about timing. So the words are not where the joke is, right? Like if I read a transcript of this, it wouldn't make any sense. But when you see Chris acting it out like this so perfectly and punctuating it with a wacky thing, it's just perfect comedy.
You don't know me. You're saying that you know me? Oh, for friends around? If you, hey. You're saying that you know me with all the friends around? You know?
So a lot of people laughing at this because they've known drunk women or they have themselves been drunk women. And so they're just laughing at how perfect he's portraying this event.
Hey, drunk girls are the only people on the planet that can almost throw up and not care about it at all. Right? If you're a dude and you almost throw up, you know game over immediately, right? You'd be like, hey, bro, get my things! Nobody move!
Yeah, vomiting is funny. Vomiting is one of the funniest things the body does. Obviously, okay, so jizzing is, I think, 1. Pooing is 2. Peeing might be below vomiting. Vomiting might be 3, and then peeing or pissing, as some people would say, would be number 4. Vomiting's funny just because it's involuntary. You know, some people have a funny gag reflex. You make a funny face. You make a funny sound when you do it. A lot of elements of comedy in vomiting. And that is, it's very funny now, but in the old days, in the 1800s, a lot of people died from it.
Girls don't do that. Girls don't care at all. Girls just be like, hey, where are you going? This is my song.
Massive applause break again. Perfect, not only perfect impression, but that's exactly how they are.
I love Rihanna. I'm Rihanna. I'm her. You're like, yo, you almost threw up. It doesn't even matter.
So she's still drunk here.
Yeah, girls don't make sense. You never understand when they're drunk. You never understand what the hell they're talking about. But also, when girls are not drunk, you never understand what the hell they're talking about, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Girls like to use words. Sometimes they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Like the words that they use, they're not even in the right place. Girls pick words that they like and then just run with it. Girls are on some new thing.
So he's saying, yes, he is pointing out that, yes, girls that are not drunk are also annoying, which is what I said before.
Where they're calling everything random. Girls will say something's random, it's not even random. A girl will be like, oh my God, you're wearing a jacket? That's so random. It's not random, it's winter. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know it'd be random if it wasn't winter, I was still wearing a jacket and then I ate a monkey. That would be random. I had a girl tell me the other day this. She said, you know what? You text me at the most random times in the day. I was like, really? When are those times? Like, when are random times that happen during the day? She's like, I don't know. It's just random. Whenever you text me, God. I was like, yeah, but tell me when those...
God, women are so annoying, guys. I'm trying my hardest not to laugh out loud.
Random times are, so I can text you the other times, yeah? This is what she hit me with. She said, I don't know, whatever's random to one person isn't necessarily random to the next. Like, yo, you can't just make up a saying like you're Yoda and then the conversation's over. You gotta mean something when you talk. And don't tweet a picture of a salad. That's the main point I'm trying to get at.
I don't know about the salad.
Girls do just use words. Sometimes they use phrases. They don't even think about what they mean. Here's something common a girl will say when you're trying to have sex with her. This is something a girl says often when you're trying to get her into bed. She'll go like this. Hello, you can't handle this.
Oh, I thought he was going to do an impression of the drunk girl almost throwing up there again, but no.
Excuse me, you think you can handle this? No, you can't handle this. Yo, yeah, I can. What are you talking about? It's just sex. I've had it 6 times before. I know how it goes down.
A little self-deprecating joke there.
Yeah, I go inside you, 4.5 minutes, it's over. That's what happens, man. Yeah, I end up feeling good, you feel kind of okay. That's what happens, man. What do you mean I can't handle it? You're acting like when I slip inside you, the SWAT team is gonna burst through the door and arrest my ass. I couldn't handle that, but guess what? That would be random.
Nice callback. Nice callback. Huge callback there, Matt. He's got like 4 or 5 screaming applause breaks during that set. Remarkable stuff. Really interesting too. Like he is similar vein as David Lucas, where women are annoying, drunk girls are so annoying. I fucking can't stand them, but I love having sex with them. But I can't stand them, but I'll fuck them. It really, what a frustrating existence, you know? Great stuff from Crystalia. So that act really blew him up. I don't know if you guys saw that act trending on Twitter and YouTube in the old days, but that really blew up 15, 20 years ago and launched him to the stratosphere. But you can hear the energy in the crowd. I mean, these people can't get enough of it. He's got a certain talent for voice comedy, body comedy, all the elements, and a great callback to the thing he said before at the beginning of the sketch. Wow. Whew. That was so cool. So Bill Maher and Crystalia, a lot of people wonder why we see them in front of our screens or on our screens all the time. And that's why. You just have to watch that and you're like, the system works. Great stuff. Great eyebrow work. But anyway, moving on. We have another little thing I found. I hope that this doesn't get taken down. I say that every time, but I feel like we're in the clear at this point, unless these videos are totally blocked and I've been just showing a black screen to you guys, and you've been all very enthusiastically chatting anyway. So this is a compilation from the channel Joke World, and the channel Joke World is a channel that sort of like, you know how Bill Maher sort of lightly comments on the news? He just sort of recaps events that have happened. Joke World does that, but just for comedy. It'll just sort of aggregate comedy stuff that's happened and put it all together for your enjoyment. Sometimes with commentary, which can be helpful, you know, like when there's a podcast and Bert Kreischer says something, it's important that a voiceover tells you that Bert Kreischer has said something, just to reinforce that you know what you're looking at. So here's Joke World. This is a compilation called Theo Von Try Not to Laugh. This is Theo Von not only in, I assume, maybe stand-up comedy situations, but a lot of podcast situations, where most comedy happens now. Most comedy happens on podcasts. Stand-up comedy is kind of not as big as it used to be. A lot of stand-up comedy too. If you guys have been to stand-up comedy shows, a lot of it, especially for the biggest comedians, are just the comedians sort of recapping funny stuff that they've said on podcasts before. And the first half hour of seeing a big podcast comedian is just the crowd being like they in a state of total ecstasy because they can't believe that the person they've listened to is in front of them. Ann Polar says, Miles, I thought your channel was Joke World. We're not Joke. I wish we were Joke World. Joke World is very successful. We're simply we're an educational channel, just here to explain jokes. Joke World doesn't explain jokes. Joke World is here to just inform the audience that jokes were said and they are found here.
When I was young, we used to play this game called
Also, this video is called Try Not to Laugh. So try not to laugh, guys. See if you can play this game. If you laugh, let us know in the comments. But here's Theo on a podcast about to say some really funny thing.
A chicken, they called it. I didn't name the game, but I was, the game existed, and then I existed.
Was it your uncle?
Oh, he's here with Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel of Do the Watusi fame and Deal or No Deal and America's Got Talent. Huge star.
Was it a neighbor?
Well, the game was you and a buddy, you'd grab each other's wiener.
Right.
Penis, they called it.
In those days.
Some of you guys call it penis. But
already funny. Penis is already introduced. One of the funniest body parts.
Yeah, you'd grab it, and the first person to get an erection lost the game.
Right.
So it's like arm wrestling for
It's the stupidest fucking game.
No, it's not.
No.
It's simple.
All right, so there's a classic Theo Von joke, which is a fun story from his Southern upbringing. Theo Von, very charming guy, very laid back, loose, funny stories from the past, very Forrest Gump. Sort of, it evokes images again of grits, swamp boats, Louisiana oil pipelines, a nice hot porch, a rocking chair, mint juleps, just all that nice stuff. Very funny accent that Theo has, but also this is what kind of levels him up, right? Like Bert Kreischer has, he's a story-based comedian who tells that famous story of when he was in Russia and the mob forced him to take his shirt off. I think that's the story that he tells. But Theo Von has like 2 dozen stories that he tells. So much funnier.
I mean, it is.
Did you win? Did you ever win, or did you lose? Did you lose a lot, or did you win a lot?
Oh, I did real well one season.
What is the gay chicken season? What does that go from?
It's more of a win. It's more. I would say it's an autumn game.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of.
Well, that's so. I think I can see it now. All the leaves.
I just want to pause it. Theo Von has very nice teeth. That's also kind of the mark of a successful comedian is like they have very good dental work done. And they are very full of a lot of nutrients that lesser comedians don't have access to.
Leaves changing colors, and just the two of you. What do you play with neighbors or the teams?
No,
or?
you just got. I mean, we only had about 7 guys that played in our little bracket or whatever, but they had.
You know what's weird? You know what's interesting? You have 7 guys in your bracket, yet it's a 2-man game.
Yeah.
And so there's an odd number.
Oh yeah.
Does it have to be 2-man? Can't you like do it in a circle?
Oh come on, lady.
No.
Come on, man. Y'all are messed up. Y'all are first.
Dude, I'll tell you what we did one time.
Oh man, I hope you guys didn't laugh. But that was that was a funny, very funny story of Theo Von's childhood when they would hold each other's penises. Whoever got the erection first lost the game. Very funny childhood story. Again, you imagine it's just a funny scene to imagine Theo and his friend standing under a weeping willow tree, mama in the distance calling that supper's ready, and you can hear the fireflies are just starting to come out in the evening, and these 2 boys are just trying not to get erections while they're holding on to each other's penises. So very, very funny stuff. Very funny image, funny story.
So we had a dent in a car or vehicle or whatever you guys call them. And, yeah. And, dude, we caught a couple of pigeons and got them to shit over the dent.
Oh, you just held the pigeon over there? You kept feeding it?
Squeezed it a
We
little?
didn't feed them. They'll shit pretty soon after you hold them. And we turned it in, and it had this kind of, just a shit finish, I guess, on it. And they didn't see the dent. They didn't see the damage,
Smart.
So that's kind of an old school thing, I guess, or new school. But
hello and
another classic Theo story. Getting pigeons to shit on something. Very funny. Again, it's a very funny scene, very funny story. And kind of a random thing to say, right? He's on Kill Tony, the premier late night comedy platform where comedians who prove they're funny for 60 seconds can sell out a national theater tour. And he's telling this funny story from his childhood. Again, you imagine, he just paints such a great picture with his accent. He's standing there with his friend. There's a couple southern pigeons, which are, they're not so complicated as the northern pigeons, right? They just like clucking and ducking. And he's trying to make the pigeon poo, trying to poo on a thing, an object of some kind. And, he's standing there with his friend. They're giggling like Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. There's just a steamboat in the background, paddle wheel going on in the background, slowly down the Mississippi while the pigeons are taking a poo. Very funny stuff.
And welcome to Trigonometry. I'm Francis Foster.
I'm Konstantin Kissin.
And this is a show for you if you want honest conversations
Don't know who
with
these guys are, but
fascinating people.
Our brilliant guest today is...
Don't know who they are, but very funny accents, very absurd. Obviously, they must be from England, which is a very silly country with, as we explored earlier, very bad food.
Is already taking the piss out of us. It's the amazing American comedian Theo Von. Welcome to Trigonometry.
You guys have... We call it autism.
Very funny teeth. Healthy teeth.
I don't know what you guys call it, bro, but we got it over here. Everybody's got it.
they had a comedy room near.
Very funny. So Theo, right out the gate, first thing he says, very funny. Calling those two British guys autistic. So that's just kind of a joke about his southern ignorance, right? He's playing it up, saying they just have British accents. And he says, you guys are autistic, which of course they're just British. And that's the joke, is that, again, that Theo is such a funny character. It's just like, he's like a funny guy you'd hang out with, right? That's why people really enjoy he's got a funny mullet, funny accent, and he doesn't have a filter, right? It's very similar to the premise of the movie Crocodile Dundee, right? When an Australian guy goes to America and he's like, that's not a knife, this is a knife. Like, and it's just total fish out of water, bizarre cultural interactions that occur. Very funny, very, very funny. Try not to laugh.
Near me, this gentleman had half a limb. And he was...
Which limb?
He was missing part of his leg, I think. Or he said he was. So he could have been faking it.
CGI or something?
So that's Jocko Willink. He's got a big podcast. He's a big podcast comedian who used to do the, I think in the U.S. military, he would be like the Navy SEALs comedian there. He's got a huge, very thick neck. A lot of the time, especially, I've noticed a lot of the podcaster, the bigger the podcast, the thicker your neck is. Right now we're doing the best we can here at the Bachelors of Music. We're super grateful to have all these people watching our streams and our videos. But as you can see by my neck, we don't really have the viewership of Jocko Willink. But once we start to get to 100,000, approaching 500,000 subs, you guys are going to notice how my face is going to get more red and my neck is going to get wider and wider. And it's just going to... I'm going to be able to punch a fucking hole in the drywall next to me. Oh, whoa, yes. I got a little... You can see that we have 90 viewers now. So I could feel the aggression rising inside my forehead there. But anyway, Jocko Willing, very funny, huge watch, big wrist, thick bones.
I don't know what his name was.
Holy shit, look at this guy too. Oh man, he must have a fucking massive podcast. That guy has got a lot of listeners.
I mean, it was a CJ. It was a white dude.
Okay, check.
So are you going to go to
What
space?
is he talking about? I don't even know what the Theo Von joke was, but those guys couldn't even try not to laugh. Moving on.
Think, Logan? Because I was thinking about that.
They're doing that now. They're doing that.
I know.
I am going to go. Yeah. I'd like to go. It's on my bucket list. I don't want to die on this planet, dude.
Wow. So we got Logan Paul here. He's a big YouTube comedian. He started on and will die on YouTube. This guy is sort of like, don't know who he is. I assume that he feeds off of the crumbs of Logan Paul. So this is what's so interesting. This is how kind of trickle-down economics works. So Logan Paul will order DoorDash meals 3 times a day minimum, right? He's never going to cook for himself, but a lot of the time these DoorDashers or meal services will give you too much food. So whenever there's any food left, this guy here, it will swoop right in. And you can see he's a little bit thinner than Logan, so he doesn't get to eat as much food as Logan Paul does. But Logan Paul is much, much funnier. So that's just sort of how the trickle down or trickle sideways economics works.
Really?
I don't want to, like, for real. I don't want to die on this planet.
Damn, that is a very rich thing to say, I feel like, honestly.
It really is. I don't want to die with these poor peasants.
The rest of us are trying to find quarters in our car to get that air machine to fucking fill up our tire at the gas station. And this guy's like, I'm not done on this planet.
Get him, Theo.
I feel you though, dude. We'll be down here.
Dying.
There he is, in an Austin Hooper jersey.
So this joke here is there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers on this joke here. So Theo Von is calling out Logan Paul for saying such a rich thing, which, you know, you've got to be careful of, because Theo Von's been rich for about 2 decades, but he didn't start out rich. So he knows that when you're not rich, it can be controversial to say rich person things. You don't really want to draw awareness to it, right? And so Logan Paul just loves the fact that he's doing well and that Theo called him out on it. So very funny of Theo to call out Logan Paul for being rich and just keeping everybody on notice, making sure.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
You have other people that say, I don't want to die in this neighborhood. Like the projects.
It is also fascinating too, like, because these podcasts, if you look at the stats, podcasts of, you know, four very wealthy people talking to each other is very popular with low-income Americans.
Get out of here. He's trying to leave to go to Mars for a fucking funeral that no one can go to. Who's going to attend that? Jeff Bezos.
There'll be somebody out there, dude. There'll be somebody out there, a couple of pervs.
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, Schultz will be out.
Yes, and this guy points out that it is funny as well, so that's double funny. Hey, Bert Phillips. Myles, the best YouTube comedian joke explainer. Thank you so much, Bert Phillips. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your donation. I'm glad I could explain these to you. But a lot of people love this podcast here.
Who would
Don't know
be
if you
at
listen
that
to Logan.
dinner, dude, at that last Saturn supper, huh? Who would be out there on that thing?
Bezos, Musk.
Rogan would be there. Rogan would be working the Traeger out there. Yeah, Rogan have an apron on.
Space
bare
elk.
ass showing out of the
Space
back.
elk.
Yeah. yeah, dude. Eating fucking moon
Very funny
meat.
scene he's painting here.
What's it called? The ivermectin?
Yeah. Oh, it cured him. That guy.
That was a wild one.
Thank God for him, man.
Got to protect him, yeah?
Yeah, but just thank God for, thank God for freaking podcasting.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Oh, my God.
Having to go on the news and talk about something?
Thank God for podcasting. Oh, I mean, has there ever been a truer statement said? Again, Theo, he puts on the a character of like a southern simpleton, but he's one of the smartest people on the face of the earth, and he makes the observation like, thank God there's podcasts, because where could you imagine if people had to get their news from the news?
Oh my God, bro. I would pay somebody to look at my asshole if I had to do that, man.
How much?
Children, that's who.
Oh.
But only in my family. And only in my neighborhood, dude. Only to give back to the community.
You need like a Venn
They love these. They love them.
Yeah, to give back what's given to me, man. You
guys
gotta
have
keep
such
going,
good
man. You
teeth.
gotta get back to your roots, man.
Theo, you're from Louisiana. What do you think about this guy?
Well, Bandito Suavecito, you laughed, man. You're supposed to try not to laugh, but you're laughing. Looks like you lost the game. Here he's back on Kill Tony. This is before Kill Tony took off. Tony Hinchcliffe was plugged away at this format for 20 years before it really took off.
Yeah. When you said Landry, I knew he was from there. That's the only place I've ever heard that name. What part are you from?
I'm from Houma.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Homa's a good place, really. It's a good place to have a friend. It's real soft down there. The land is real soft. Like you could be talking to somebody and then they just fucking. I'm not even joking, bro. And people are so nice, they'll listen as they just fucking go straight into the fucking ground.
They just sink into the ground?
Yeah, they're like, I'd love to stay, but.
Oh, and his family.
Oh, right. So that's a great southern swamp joke, like I was talking about before. Swampy down there. It's swampy in the south. They'll sink right down there into the swamp grass. I'll tell you that much. So a lot of that joke is funny because of the geographical. That's a bit of a geology joke. It's actually really interesting because when there's a lot of rivers, that especially the Mississippi forms like a delta basin, the water permeates the ground. Makes a big swamp estuary, and the ground can be very soft there. So that's a joke for geologists and hydrologists. Again, very high thinking material here.
Family partially owned the place. It was a business next door. They sold wine. Like Gary V or whatever that guy's name is, Jerry V, telling people to fucking sell their home and sleep in their yard. You know what I'm saying? And that dude was raised on a damn wine farm or something, dude. He's in there fucking, you know what I'm saying, dude, hiding grapes in his ass at night. Free
grapes in his ass, putting stuff in your butt. We know that's funny.
And grapes and fucking hiding them in his ass. And he's telling people how to struggle. Dude, that guy's out of his mind. He's like, oh, damn, dude. Oh, you still have silverware in your house? Fucking sell it. And then he shows up and he'll like hug the dude. The guy can't even, he has no way to get food in his mouth, you know? The guy's fucking just knuckling through some chowder, knuckling through some bouillabaisse. And he's like, no worries, man. You made $76 last night. And he hugs him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck? And then he drives off and the family's just standing there in a park. Another winner. That guy's out of his fucking mind, dude. And he hugs, oh, you sold 2 extra Christmas sweaters you didn't need from last year, and they're crying together. Dude. Like, what is going on, dude?
Oh, man.
But anyway, I don't, and look, man.
I got to give some love.
Describing a southern businessman.
I'm sorry. The videos, I'm not saying the guy's not a smart guy. The videos, though, and the guy grew up well off.
Well, no, I think he actually didn't grow up well off. That's part of his.
Oh, and
that's
I could
part
be
of his
lying.
deal. No, you partially lying, but it's not really lying if you don't know. But he grew up. You know, his dad owned like a corner liquor store or something, and he did. You know, he got after it and created the.
But in my neighborhood, a corner liquor store is the same as a winery.
Yeah,
okay,
true. Right, so if you're looking at it from maybe from Theo Vaughn's perspective, hell yeah, he grew up like big time.
Oh yeah, look at these dudes over here, huh? Slanging that Riesling.
Is vaping? This is a crazy question.
Okay. Not sure what the story was that was so funny there. I don't know who they were talking about or describing. I think context is important. Joke World, if you're watching, maybe include a little bit more before that. But there was a lot of laughing going on. A lot of podcasts are not specifically joke. Like, it's not set up punchline. It's not like comedy. It's about they're just hanging out, right? You're just hanging out and laughing. If I walked into a group of people and they were laughing, I don't even have to know what they were saying. I would just start laughing too, because laughter is infectious. It's like the avian flu. Here we are with another podcast here. Thank God for podcasts.
You can vape inside?
Most people look at you and be like, let me hit it. All right, I don't care.
I think most people just don't care.
But like, imagine lighting up a cigarette inside of a cheesecake factory. They'd be, bro, what the fuck?
I'm going to call the FBI for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, because vaping, people usually blow it down their pant leg or blow it
The
like...
shirt, the turtleneck.
out somewhere. Yeah. And there's even shirts I saw where it's made for vaping, secretly vaping.
It's a wetsuit?
Really? It's like a vaping shirt.
I know that they have pocket tees that hold your vape in the corner.
No, I'm talking about hold the fucking smoke.
Oh, damn, that ghillie suit?
I'm talking
Dude, there was a
about that
dude
real
next to me
thing.
who didn't give a fuck
What are they looking at? They're looking at a TV in the corner?
on the flight.
People be
Like,
vaping on flights.
Full smoke.
That's a black dude, bro. Just say what you want to say, dog.
Is Mr. Joe videotaping this?
I don't understand. Is that a new stereotype? I didn't even know that one. Do black people smoke on flights? See, this is we laugh and we learn on the Joke Explainer channel. I had no idea, but yeah, they're not looking at each other. Very interesting. They were laughing though, which is funny. And vaping down your shirt is a funny image. So that is both two funny jokes. One is an image-based joke. The other one is just kind of I believe the unveiling of a new stereotype.
hey, Theo, okay, look, we gonna role play, all right? You my girl, and you just gonna break up with me.
Oh,
Just
shit.
break up with me, all right?
Just break up with you?
Yeah.
Can I? I'm just asking. Can I use the N-word or not?
No, I'm just saying, I would always...
That's a valid question and something you should always ask when you meet a black person. It's the polite thing to do. It's just to ask straight up. As soon as you meet a black person, ask them if it's okay.
Theo, I don't care, but when we step out of here, I can't help you. Okay. But you use it at your discretion.
Okay.
Do whatever you want.
Hey, Ellis.
Hey, what's up, baby? What's going on?
You know what the fuck's up, boo? My little...
Baby, why you censoring the word nigga? You know you saying freely.
That was a call came in. I ain't censoring shit. I know you've been out there with Mr. Joe petting them fucking white animals.
What? What the? What? Baby, what?
So this is I believe this is a callback to this comedian's set here. So this is totally out of context, but you can still laugh because Theo is doing a funny voice here. And he's pretending to be a woman, which is annoying, because women are annoying. Especially, yes, Bandito Suavecito says black women are funny. Yes, all women are funny because they're annoying.
I know you've been out there with Papa Joe.
Again, hard without the context, but the voice is funny. Also, Tony's laughing. And if Tony laughs at your jokes, you will shortly have a national theater tour.
Them little fucking honky Muppets.
Shonda, you crazy, baby. Look.
Not as crazy as your homeless ass is. I'm out this relationship, my...
Shonda?
This line has currently been disconnected.
We had a dude on...
Okay, so not a lot of context there. Joke world, I know you probably don't do your own edits. You probably have a large team. But if you could just talk to your team and let them know, we need a little bit more context for these. It really helps the jokes breathe. Here we are on another podcast, guys. Thank God for podcasts. I didn't know there was this many podcasts. I thought there was 3, but a quick Google search, there's about 3,000 podcasts coming out every day.
When I was growing up, this dude, we stayed at his house one time, this guy Curtis, and he knows it.
He has a big dick. I could tell by his name.
He actually, he has a big dick and a gay brother, dude.
Oh, what a setup. Oh, man. This is like great foreshadowing. A big dick and a gay brother. Guys, penises are funny. Being gay is funny. Here we go. Hold on, everybody. Try not to laugh.
Damn.
If you got a gay brother, you have a big dick.
For 1,000%.
You know, guys.
Or if you're a cop. The cops are packing dick.
Really?
Cops are packing dick. See, I didn't even know that. Also, this guy, where are they? This is so cool. I think this is like a real estate office.
Usually, I mean, the highway patrol generally has bigger penis.
I got to look that up.
All right. So Curtis...
Yeah, he had a bunch of animals at his house. Like
Right.
he probably had 20 animal cages in his room, and I was so scared I couldn't go to sleep. He had snakes, ferrets.
Were you sleeping at his house?
Yeah, we were having a sleepover.
Right.
And that night, his dad actually jerked off into the fire.
Oh, I remember
outside.
the story, yeah.
Well, also, though, in the middle of the night, his dog was barking a lot. The dad went out there, shot it.
What? Damn, that's
In
Louisiana.
the middle of the night,
That's
bro.
Louisiana, and no one did shit.
That's Louisiana. Yeah, it's, you know, a lot of places would consider that a little extreme, but that's Louisiana.
I wouldn't fucking go in to defend that dog. He'd have just lost, you know? And I barely knew the father, you know?
What kind of
and-
gun was it?
I mean, it sounded like a
pistol?
handgun.
Yeah, pistol.
Yeah, I don't think you go out there with something bigger than that.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, that's if you're gonna shoot a pit bull, it's gotta be you. I don't think you do a shotgun.
But also the dog, you got to recognize you're outside of the city limits. This dog has to know where he's at. Like,
he knew.
You know, there's 5 kids sleeping over. You're going to be up all night fucking barking. Like,
Right.
unless it's a murder out in the yard or something, you got to tighten it up for the night.
I'll tell you this much: those other animals probably.
Oh, right after that,
changed their-
everybody was quiet.
That's it.
The ferrets shut the fuck up. Everybody was chill. The spider, you know,
Right.
quiet as fuck.
Quiet
dude.
as a mouse.
Oh, had put on 8 slippers and fucking went to bed, bro. Everybody
dude.
chilled out.
So Pat,
That's a great joke about spiders because spiders have 8 legs. So sort of the joke there's this specificity of naming all the spider legs all having slippers. Great story. A little extreme for us Northerners, right? We normally don't shoot dogs, but the image of, you know, the South being so backwoods that a guy would go get the shotgun, shut that dog up with a slug. You know, that's funny because they're so Civil War down there.
Patrick, let's talk about it. What do you do for a living?
Opiates.
Got him.
I'm just joking, dude. That's when I really started to like being a.
That's just right off the cuff. He's a scraggly guy. Theo's noticed a lot of people, you know, throughout America that had, you know, opiate addictions, kind of look scraggly. Puts the 2 together. Boom. Roasted.
A part of recovery. And there's all types of it, you know. I mean, there's stuff for everything. There's recovery for people that wear shirts that don't fit or that fit too tightly.
Yeah, I've struggled with that for a long time.
Sorry.
It drags me down hanging around with Echo because we both kind of feed off each other, and it just turns into a bad scene.
I was gonna say, I see who your dealer is, obviously. Okay.
Yeah, they're making fun of their tight shirts. Yeah, again, like I said, your body gets massive as your podcast grows in popularity.
You guys meeting up behind a freaking AutoZone to fucking pick up a couple extra smalls, dude. The sad part is there is a small boy out there somewhere right now.
He don't have a shirt.
He don't have a shirt on, dude.
So Theo, last question.
See that's masterful. That's a masterful joke right there. So a normal person would have just said, "You guys meeting up behind a store," but when you use a specific place like AutoZone, it builds a better image in your head. You imagine all the funny things that go on at AutoZone, and it makes the joke so much funnier. That's the difference between listening to a podcast that's not good, and listen to a podcast that makes you laugh so hard you drive right off the road. And here he's back with these two British gentlemen here on Trigonometry. Already a funny name for a show, Trigonometry. It's a combination of the math practice of trigonometry, which is studying angles, and the triggernometry. So trigger is a woke word for when people get upset. Like if you were to mention a Southern man blowing a dog away in the neighbor's yard, some woke people might get upset by that, and they would say, "Oh, I'm triggered by animal cruelty story." These are all jokes, Garrett Peterson. These are all jokes, man. Very funny stuff.
Question we ask, and this is going to sound funny given what you've just said, is what's the one thing when
Not bad. Been a long day, dude.
You ask him the question.
Yeah,
man.
okay. So, Theo, the last question
Yeah.
we always ask is, what's the
All right, let me
thing...
look one time. Is this mirror? This is a good mirror.
Yeah, it is a good mirror.
Did this chain be out the whole time? Oh, no, it's good. All right.
What's the one thing we're not talking about that we really should be?
So I think the joke here is that Theo is on cocaine a little bit.
I think they... Oh, dude, I remember one time I saw these massive birds, right? They call them in your country?
they call them
massive
birds.
Beautiful, strong. I swear, bro, I went to this place called Newcastle. Have you heard of this?
Yes, yeah, we've got
Okay.
in Newcastle.
And this taxi drops me off, and there was these. It was like a part, like a. I don't know if it was looked like a bachelorette party or something, and in this foyer of like a big, there was a big room, like a big window, and they were in there naked. You know, what do you call it? Tits.
Yes.
Yes.
Tits. And they were beating each other with pillows in there, bro. And I sat out there and watched, smoked a cigarette out there. Right out there,
And
boy.
that's the one thing no one's talking about.
Huh?
And that's the one thing
Bro,
no one's talking about.
There was 7 of these women in there.
I can see why you brought it up. It's, it's an
And it
important
was
point, Theo.
fucking, it was serious, man. Oh.
That's fantastic. Well, Theo,
It was serious, bro. See, I can't even do it justice because you can't even believe that it could happen, could you? Who would get 7 women naked and have them pillow fight in front of a big, huge picture window?
It's almost like they wanted to be seen, Theo.
I don't know, man. That's beautiful, bro.
Great closer. Describing a scene. He's clearly, I think this is a callback to his mushroom set from many, many years ago. So he's calling back a set from so many years ago. The further back the callback, the funnier it is when it reaches you. Great story there about women with titties pillow fighting naked from a picture window, and he's also a little bit paranoid about hearing stuff in the yard behind him. He's obviously on some sort of drugs, which is funny because, you know, drugs make you act wacky. He's acting very wacky there, which again is if you were listening to this podcast, you would have to pull over the truck to get the laughs out. Wow, great stuff. So that was trying. I hope you guys were able to. You're allowed to laugh now. I know you were trying not to laugh that whole time, but you're not allowed to laugh now. Yeah, laughing so hard. Let it out, guys. Oh man, it's. I'm sure it's built up inside. So just let the tension release. That's mostly all I've got. I was thinking about if you'd be interested in watching me explain YouTube shorts that float past the screen at some point. I don't think my little tip counter, it doesn't seem to be working because I think we've got some money that we've got. And they did not show up on the tip counter. But I don't know if it'll be funny or not because YouTube Shorts, you never know what you're going to get. I think a lot of it's very funny. But we might have to try that as an experiment one day anyway. Terry's dad's super Irish and is always beating snakes. Yes. I hope you guys killed a lot of snakes on St. Patrick's Day. It's funny. As we've watched here, it's funny when an animal dies. Myles, how do I get over my phobia of joking, horseplay, and horsing around? I would say go see a therapist and try to wrestle him. Myles, I feel like your style is the other side of the coin to Red Bar. Both of you are brilliant, not on Theo's Rogan's level, but great for a limited amount of DMT and blow that you are on. Thanks so much. I've heard of this Red Bar man. I haven't researched him, but again, I assume he sells some sort of power bars, red bars, bars for hiking, some sort of quick protein. I've heard a lot about him, though. I hear a lot of people like him. I heard he's very funny. I choke the snakes while I stare into their eyes. Danny, calm down, man. You just want to kill them quick. Don't get attacked. If you look a snake in the eyes, you'll end up giving it a name, and you'll end up with a pet. Lamp, please take this money so I don't waste it. Thank you so much, Lamp. And that's smart. Thank you for giving me some of your toilet paper money. A selfless act. And it'll help me grow my neck muscles and make myself more red as we move forward. Mig Plutowski, $1.45. Thank you so much. Not even a request, just a delightful tip for the Witcher. Thank you so much for your donation. Again. Oh yeah, the Patreon after stream. I want to mention that after this stream is done, which will be very shortly, we'll be doing a little after stream on Patreon where we'll just be chatting a little bit, one-on-one with you guys, and just having a little chill hang before dinner time. We're gonna be back with what do we got? We got Rumble Mondays. We're gonna be explaining videos on Rumble. A great comedy platform, which I always enjoy. We've also got more Jokes Explained episodes coming out. I was watching a bit of what Brian has been working on, and it's very good, and I think it will explain a lot for yourselves and the wider world. Can you review Nick Swardson's drunk stand-up? If it doesn't have a copyright on it, I'll check it out, and I'll run it through the copyright process and see if we can. I'd love to do Nick Swardson. He's very, very funny. A lot of people, I'm sure, would love to have him explained. Where in the world is Joey Diaz? I don't know. I assume he's doing his podcast, right? He's got a podcast, so he must be podcasting. I always laugh thinking about hating Red Bar, and then he asks you for just a mere year of your time. Perfect encapsulation of his ethos. Again, I gotta look up this guy. A lot of people seem to enjoy his Red Bars. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave you guys with a little moment of zen here. Call back to the modern era of comedy. I'm just gonna mute up a whole bunch of stuff. And then we'll be back here literally in 1 or 2 minutes. We're going to start the Patreon stream. So if you guys want to see that, get to our Patreon. Also, follow us on Twitch so I can become a big deal. Cursing user, thank you for my degree. Oh, I'm glad you received it. Anyone who subscribes to the 1 of the 1,000 Patreon tier, you will get a degree in music in the mail, which is so exciting. And it's a great professional opportunity for you to begin piano lessons in your neighborhood. So thank you all guys for watching, and I'm going to leave you with this, and I hope you think it's as funny as I did.
Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Yeah,
The joy